Om. Namaste, everybody. Let's start the session of today. Practical applications of yoga in daily life. And this is the program of the Hindu Center of Atlanta on the yoga philosophy of Maharshi Patanjali. Let's sit down straight, close the eyes gently with the back, the neck, and the head in one vertical line. Keep the body totally relaxed. Bring our focus to the nostrils, observing the breath going in and out. And we'll do Om Jap 3 times. And after that mantra part, we'll start with the class. Deep inhale, and while exhaling, we are going to chant Om. Sahana vavatu, sahano bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavai, tejasvinavaditamastu, ma vidveshavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Join the palms together, rub them gently and cover the eyes. To open the eyes below the palms and transfer the energy of the hands to the facial muscles, keeping a gentle smile so that the whole body is in a relaxed mood. We've covered the 7 steps out of the 8 steps of the Ashtanga Yoga of Maharshi Patanjali. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, and Dhyan. And we'll be looking into the details of Samadhi. So Yama were the social discipline and Niyama personal discipline, the do's and don'ts, as we say. Asana, it's beyond the asana which we usually hear, not the bundle of exercises, but practicing Sthira Sukham Asanam, to be in one posture where we are comfortable to sit for a long period of time without any impediments. Pranayam also is not the common pranayam that we've been hearing and we've been saying or practicing. It's breath control and retaining of the breath either outside or inside to start with. Then there are 2 other steps in between that. Pratyahar is introversion of the senses, and in these dire times of the pandemic of COVID, Pratyahar is a very good tool to have self-control rather than running on the outside. It's time to go to delve inside and do better management. Then dharma is the focus, dhyan is meditation, and samadhi is the ultimate point where we start into communion with one's self-realization, realization of the soul, then realization of Prakriti, matter as it is, and especially matter in this primordial form, Sattva Rajtam, serves us till the soul is in this body. And the last step could be communion with God, Ishvara, and that is God realization. This step. I think let's start with some practice of dhyan, meditation, simple practice. Just sit down straight, observe the breath moving in and out, and we'll do jap because jap is a very effective and efficient tool to dhyan. Because when we do jap, we do mantra chanting, and the mantra chanting goes in the way that if we focus on our pronunciation, on the sound waves of the pronunciation and the vibrations of the sound waves, that brings us to easy harmonizing, silencing of the mental activities and the emotional activities. So let's start with slight short practice of dhyan. Close the eyes again gently, sit down straight, deep inhale and exhale. And while exhaling, we'll do the Om Jap, focusing on the sources of the sound which synchronizes our body, synchronizes the various sources of sound of the body and the energy of the body. And Om is also known as the natural sound given to mankind. So that's why let's use Om for jap. Deep inhale. Now we'll do Om Jap with only lips movement. I'll be guiding you. Now it's total silent job, but still feel the sound of silence and feel the vibrations of Om within the whole of our body. Join the palms together, rub them gently and cover the eyes to open the eyes below the palms. External light doesn't hit our retina and transfer the energy to the eyes. That was a short practice of dhyan, which is meditation. And this is the seventh limb of yoga. Dhyan is to bring the focus of the mind, and regular practice with Om brings us to the point that one, we can sense the vibrations of Om, and Om is very short, so if we prolong it on our breath, that still we can feel the same vibrations again and again, and within the repetition of Om, I think you should have felt it, that the mind just gets cut off with the whole world, and we are only with one subject matter, which is Om, running in our mind, and the emotions are completely absent. So that's total yoga chitta vritti nirodha, with only one focal point in our practice. Samadhi is the eighth limb of yoga, the final step, and it comes within the Vibhuti Pad. It says absorption. Samadhi is that contemplation in which only one object shines forth, and the meditator loses his own form. It's not losing the form physically, but losing connection to that form. We are connected only to one subject matter. And generally, samadhi starts with one subject matter where we realize ourselves, our souls within this body, and we start making the difference of realization, self-realization. We realize ourselves as soul, which is beyond this body, and this body is only a vehicle for the soul to continue its journey. So it says when dhyan becomes deeper and deeper, the meditator, even if he's doing japa, he loses awareness of the word and the meaning associated to the word or with the object, and only the object of meditation remains in the mind. Like we know, when we go on the path to self-realization, we just be in communion with the self and examining the soul as the entirety which gets things going for this body. At that point in time, we no longer feel connection with the body, rather we are connected with the soul itself. The self-awareness deepens and deepens, and what that is absorption, and that is samadhi. Any questions in that level? I'll just elaborate a bit on that. Just as we are meditating, and often at the point of dharana, we are focusing on either the center of the eyebrows or the tip of the nostrils, or observing the breath going in and out, or doing japa with Om. In dhyan, the next step, in samadhi, what happens is that we lose awareness of the point of our focus, be it the center of the eyebrows, or the tips of the nose, or even as we say the Pundiri Kaksha, which is the Hridaya Akasha, the point just below the sternum, which is the empty space below the ribs. And at that point in time, we don't even realize where our point of focus is. We're just absorbed with the presence of the soul in this body. We are just connected to the soul. And ultimately, it's now the next step would be realization of Prakriti, that this body, which is matter, serves the soul only for the period of the journey, and ultimately we move to the next step where Ishvara, God, becomes the subject matter of our dhyan, our contemplation, and once we are absorbed there, that's starting on the deeper and deeper steps of samadhi. Then in the Vibhuti Pad, it says that dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, the three of them together joins to make a group which is called sanyama. Sanyama are the tools, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, to achieve total or all-round control of the mind and disciplining the mind, or having that level of self-restraint where there is only one subject matter in which we are absorbed. And one practical example, when people say dhyan, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi is difficult to achieve, I usually give the example when people are watching a movie on any of the screens, be it TV, tablet, or mobile phone. At that moment, we are only absorbed. We don't even see the screen. We don't even care about the subtitles. Where our focus is only on whatever the actors are doing during the movie. So that's a simple example of when we are totally absorbed in day-to-day running things. But then the absorption there is a movie where the pictures are moving constantly. And usually in a movie, I think it's about 40 pictures per second, which is changing. But still we are absorbed in one thing. The screen doesn't matter to us. The tool doesn't matter to us. Even if there are subtitles, if it's in a foreign language, which we don't understand, then we care about the subtitles. But if it's, say, in a language which we can understand, the subtitles doesn't matter to us. And what matters to us is the actions of the actors. It's just the same thing. When we are in samadhi, we are totally absorbed either in the self of the soul, or the next step would be realizing matter and then move into communion with God. So that's where dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, Maharshi Patanjali treats it as saniyama. It's the three together are called all-round control, because whenever we sit down in samadhi, the first thing is we have to bring our point to dharana, then go into dhyan, and then we attain samadhi. And that's, as we say, the dividing line is very fine. It's so subtle that we just jump from one to the other. And the next sutra says, tat jayata pradyaloka. From mastering the sanyama, that is mastering dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, comes prajya, knowledge, loka, light, and there comes the light of knowledge, or as we say, the vision, the wisdom, the insight. So that's the practical benefit of samadhi. It brings us to a point where we can catch the subtle knowledge happening in the universe around us. And this is what scientists do. They just get involved, absorbed in their research, and come with discoveries. And for our self-management, when we are there in samadhi, and probably at that point in time when our dhyan, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, all three, when we jump to the steps and reach absorption in one subject matter, we get the insight, we get the wisdom of unfolding the issues in front of us and find the light, the way out of them. And the next sutra says, Tasya bhumishu viniyoga. Tasya, of that, that is sanyama, bhumishu, in the stages, the application, the practice matters. And the practice matters goes in the Yoga Sutra 1.14, which says, Sa tu det kale nirantara satkara sevito drera bhumi. So, for whatever practice, whether it is yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, the same rule applies. Sa tu that kale, that practice will have to be over a long period of time, nirantariya, constantly regular practice, satkara sevito, with lots of love, lots of passion, lots of dedication. And often we confound the word passion. We think of passion as things that we run for the outside world. But we can have a passion for any positive things, like a passion to be a good person. We have a passion to reading. We have a passion to self-development by reading good things and trying to adopt, as we say, yama in life to be a better person. So passions can also be on the positive side for building our personality and for building ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually. Then sanyama is applied usually in stages. This practice, as we said, dharana can be practiced with external objects, but eventually we'll have to come within ourselves with the scent of the eyebrows or the tip of the nostrils or the, as we say, the hridayakash, the place where the soul resides. Eventually, when we focus on ourselves, we'll be able to connect with the hridayakash, the point of the below the sternum where the soul resides. And this is where we enter into communion with the soul and starts in the path of self-realization. So it's a level where we start with the gross level and we do, as we say in the process, the fragmentation process, shed the gross and come into the subtle and more subtle level and realize the soul. And when we go to the level of realization of the soul, then we also realize that the soul is so minute that it says in the Upanishad, to gauge the size of a soul, just take a pinpoint or a hair in the cross section, divide it into 100, and take one part of that, divide it again into 100. That is, it's 1 over 10,000 parts of the cross section of a hair, or that tip of the needle, or the tip of the pin. So just imagine to what subtle level we've been going, and it's not difficult to realize. You just start practicing it and move forward, dhire dhire. And there's the line from Kabirji which comes to my mind in the Kabir Bhajan, says, "Dhire dhire re mana, dhire sab kuch hoy, mali sinche sao gharas, ritu aaye phal hoy." It says, even if it says the gardener should go slowly, because if you put, instead of one pail of water in the root of the plant, it puts hundreds of them, the plant will bloom and yield the fruits only in its season, that is in due time. So we shouldn't despair if at the initial stage of the practice, we just move up and slip down, move up and slip down. At each and every step, when we move up, we slip down, we'll be able to notice. We won't go below our starting point. So each time our starting level just goes up, 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 up like this. And finally we'll reach the final goal. So it's all a concept of keeping the practice regular, be constant in the practice. As far as possible, it's good to keep some time in the morning and some time in the evening. But like people who are working on shift, then they can adjust. But keeping to a certain schedule adds the benefit of that starts the self-discipline. Then it says, Trayamantarang Purvebhya. So the three, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi, are the internal limbs, because Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, we are still on the outer side. And delving into the inner side is Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. Then it says, Tada api bahiranga nirbijasya. The inner limbs, when we go into the depth of Samadhi, even Dharana, Dhyan, and the elementary level of Samadhi is still external. It's still external till we reach the point of Nirabija Samadhi. That is, it's one-pointed meditation. The focus, the subject matter is only one subject matter running at the mind level. And this is the final stage of Samadhi, Nirvishay or Nirbij Samadhi. Often people take it Nirvishay or Nirbij Samadhi to be total absence of any subject matter in our mind. But Maharshi Patanjali says the seedless state or Nirbij Samadhi or Nirvishay Samadhi is the transformation of the mind where only we have attained that Nirodha, cessation of the mental fluctuations or the fluctuating mental activities and fluctuating emotional activities. We are only connected with the object of our meditation, of our samadhi, which is the soul, and ultimately it goes to Ishvara. So that's the transformation of the minds and object. And group practice is very effective, especially at the stage of when we are doing asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, and dhyan, because samadhi is then when we reach that stage, we tend to go in isolation. In isolation, just because we want to feel ourselves, we want to feel the positive things of it, but then return to the world and share it with others. Maharshi Patanjali says the yoga philosophy is not like the concept of me, mine, and myself. It's, as we say, some part of selfishness is there because I want to perfect myself in my practice. But once I've been perfect on my practice, I have a duty to come back to the world and share with the world and bring the world along with me. So that's one way of building a better world. Like when I'm following yam niyama, is personal activity. And once I'm fine-tuned and yam following the principles of yama niyama, then and only then I can lead others to follow them. It's like asana when I can't sit down in a stable, comfortable position for a long period of time. And I said to people, you should be sit, practicing sitting down for long period and be comfortable with just sitting down comfortable for a long period of time. I can't convince others. So that part of, as we say, selfishness relies only on perfecting myself to be able to lead others into the line. I remember I had a friend who was a businessman from Calcutta. When his father started bringing him to the office after his graduation, he had nothing to do in the office except sitting down there from 9 to 5. And the first day, first hour, he was annoyed, went into his father's office and asked the father, is that what I'm going to do? Then the father told him, look, learn to sit down in one place in your office. Get acquainted to the environment of your office. Then and only then you can get acquainted to the work that you can do in your office. Next time when we go to our office, just be observing. Just take 5 minutes. Sit down there, do nothing, get acquainted with the environment of the office. And then we'll realize how we can connect easily, fine-tune ourselves, and be in tune with our environment. And this is where we start developing the aura to influence others. Any questions on that? I think we'll come back to some practice and go into the various steps of samadhi during the next session. We have 5 minutes left where we can do some practice of dhyan and bringing the focus of our mind and realize it will come automatically. And when we come out of the dhyan, we'll realize that we were totally disconnected and we were only, let's use jap, om and jap as the method to silence the flux or the fluctuating mental activities and emotional activities. Sit down straight with the body totally relaxed. Sense the body, feel the body sitting either on the chair or if you're down or even sitting on the sofa, wherever you are. Just feel the gross level. We'll do the defragmentation process. You are living this world, the planet Earth, so big that doesn't serve us much to be seated in. We live in a country. That country is so vast. Then we live in a city. That city also is vast. Come down to the county where we live. It's still going smaller and smaller now. Coming to our house, coming back to our room. See how minute we are going. And coming back to the place we are sitting. If it's a chair, probably will fill the seat. But if it's a sofa, yet there's space left on our sides. And just feel we are seated, probably 2 square feet. That's all the space we need. Likewise, this cross body, probably some 45, 50, 60 kg, still there. When we talk, it's only the mouth. When we have to lift, pick up something, it's only the hand. When we walk, it's only the soul which is in touch with the floor or the earth. But then what drives us in our actions, we can't see. We can just feel our mind in action, giving the instructions to various parts of the body to enter interaction. And if we just go deeper into it, there's something behind which drives the mind into mental activities and which drives the heart to feel the emotions. We can't see the mental activities, we can't see the emotions, but we can still sense ourselves embarking on them. With some practice of silence, deep inhale and exhale, we'll realize the breath, the life force running this body. Deep inhale and deep exhale, long, slow inhale, long, slow, gradual exhale. Sensing the breath moving in and out of the nostrils. The breath is invisible, yet it's vital to life. Now Om Jap. Again, the sounds are invisible. We can still sense it. And more subtle in the sound of the sound waves, which we can still feel, and the vibrations, which are again more subtle than the waves, which we can still feel. Just do Om Jat Upanshu with movement of the lips and focus on the subtle sound waves and vibrations in the silent lip movement. Join the palms, rub them, cover the eyes, and open the eyes below the palms, still keeping this gentle smile on the face to keep the relaxed mood. So I just hope you could sense the defragmentation, as we say, moving from the gross matter, the gross environment around us, and coming to the very tiny, subtle things which we can't see, we can't feel physically, but we can sense within our own self. This is the whole process of coming into dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. So I'll let you delve into your own experiences, and probably you can share the small experiences. Give yourself some 5 minutes morning and 5 minutes evening. And if you have some time during the day, you can give yourself 3-4 minutes and build up your practice. And probably you can share your experiences over the next week. Any questions, please? If you have questions, just unmute yourself. Otherwise, if the questions are personal, you can just send it to me on WhatsApp or on my mail or FB Messenger. It's all there in the banner. Hindu Center of Atlanta at gmail.com or Facebook Messenger. You can get me on Hindu Center of Atlanta. And WhatsApp is, there's 3456. My WhatsApp is 3455. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the practice and have a good week ahead.
Thank you, Acharya.
Namaste.
Vijayji for the closing. Okay, thank you. Namaste.